Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Ann Lee, and I'm excited to present my critique of the coaching habit. Say less, ask more, and change the way you lead forever by Bungay Stanier. My presentation will explore how Stanier's coaching approach integrates leadership concepts we have studied in this class and its relevance to today's leaders. This is a brief agenda for my talk today where I will cover introductions, summary of the book, the critique, and recommendations. I specialize in teaching movement to groups of people living with dementia and their caregivers, training interdisciplinary clinical staff, and implementing person-centered approaches that enhance function and well-being for people living with dementia. My professional leadership role is expanding as I lead larger numbers of clinical staff. I'm currently enrolled in the Master of Science in Dementia and Aging Studies program at Texas State University, where I am focused on innovative psychosocial dementia care strategies. Here's the complete bibliographic citation for the book, The Coaching Habit, Say More, Ask Less, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. The book is organized around 7 actionable questions based in behavioral science that leaders can use in everyday conversations to foster independence and engagement. Each chapter is dedicated to one question with an interactive workbook section and a post-question guidance section. Throughout these sections, the author refers to related videos and courses on the publisher's website, which is there for you to access if you're interested in. So the author, Bungay Stanier, is also known as MBS. He is a well-regarded executive coach and founder of Box of Crayons, a company specializing in helping organizations adopt coaching habits. More recently, he founded MBS Works, his own digital platform, which offers his books, practical tools, keynotes, and a year-long course for people who want to live brilliantly. Feel free to access his resources through that QR code. Why I chose the coaching habit. In my recent career in a position of leadership, I have made mistakes simply because of lack of guidance and lack of experience. This class has shown me the benefit of exploring leadership resources and options for the kind of leader I want to become. I chose this book because I wanted to learn coaching skills as I lead a growing number of staff in teaching a specialized program. In my busy workday, I need a hands-on guidebook that is practical, skills-based, efficient, empowering, simple, and straightforward. Although, what really sold me on this book was watching a video of the author pitching the book on Amazon. I was immediately struck by his authenticity and even more so by the extensive work he put into the book over 5 years. Bungay Stanier's goal with this book is to provide leaders with an accessible, actionable framework to become effective coaches in their daily work life. He wants leaders to work smarter, not harder, and have more impact. His core intention is not for the book to be dense or academic, but to offer tools that will quickly empower leaders to empower others through 7 core questions that, if turned into a daily habit, can transform everyday conversations. So the book's scope is very clearly for busy modern managers and leaders who want to coach as part of their regular interactions, not as separate or separate time-consuming process. The content of the book includes three main sections: how to build and sustain habit, 7 well thought out questions, and a question masterclass on how to use each question. His objective is to transform leadership through adopting these simple, repeatable, and impactful 7 questions as a coaching habit. Stanier's thesis is that leaders can dramatically increase their effectiveness and their team's abilities and independence by developing a simple coaching habit using the 7 strategic questions in everyday interactions. He is proposing not to turn leaders or managers into formal coaches, but instead to integrate a coaching framework for leaders to become more coach-like so that their communication can foster independent thinking, problem solving, and growth in others. The book's key concepts are habit building, 7 coaching questions, question masterclass, and by now you probably want to know, what are these 7 coaching questions? So these are the questions. Number 1, kickstart question: what's on your mind? Number 2, the awe question: and what else? And number 3, the focus question: what's the real challenge here for you? And number 4, the foundation question: what do you want? And number 5, the lazy question: how can I help? Number 6, the strategic question: if you are saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? And number 7, the learning question: what is most useful to you? So the author suggests that the questions can and will be combined in the natural course of a conversation. Here are the question masterclass sections. Each part follows one question in the format of the book. Part 1, ask just one question at a time. Part 2, cut the intro and ask the question. Part 3, should you ask rhetorical questions? Part 4, stick to questions starting with what? Part 5, get comfortable with silence. Part 6, actually listen to the answer. Part 7, acknowledge the answers you get. Part 8, use every channel to ask a question. By this he means the questions work in email, in all different formats. My critique will involve the following sections: relevant leadership approaches, associated leadership models, contribution to leadership development, the author's frame of reference and intent, and this will be followed by my recommendation. Leadership approaches. Stanier focuses on empowering conversations, which reflects leadership as a process, not just authority. This is supported by the Gallup Business Journal interview with Dr. Bruce Avolio, who studied leadership across countries and military organizations around the world. Dr. Avolio says that leadership is not a role, it's a process involving how an individual or a group influences others toward a particular goal or objective. Stanier also emphasizes helping modern leaders move from directive to coaching styles, which results in distributed or shared leadership. This shift is supported by the study on team composition, distributed leadership, and performance. It's good to share. The authors found that the contemporary work environment encourages new models of leadership that support influential behavior across teams. Leadership shared in this way improves team effectiveness and performance. Leadership models. Stanier's coaching habit aligns with servant leadership, which focuses on the empowerment of others through building relationships, asking questions, and listening. As Mark Tarallo states in his article, The Art of Servant Leadership, published by the Society for Human Resource Management, servant leaders build relationships with staff primarily by listening closely and asking many questions. Stanier's philosophy also aligns with transformational leadership, where leaders inspire, motivating followers through fostering engagement and collaboration, as described in the article, What is Transformational Leadership?, published by the University of Massachusetts Global, stating transformational leaders focus less on making decisions or establishing strategic plans and more on facilitating organizational collaboration that can help drive a vision forward. How does Michael Stanier's The Coaching Habit align with the leadership development approaches and models we have studied in this course? In doing my analysis on the book for this critique, I was quite surprised to see how thoroughly the book integrates the many different approaches and models we have reviewed. I picked the two main approaches and the two main models that I thought most closely aligned or supported his philosophy. And I wanted to lay them all out, all of the models and approaches, into some kind of graphic to show the many influences that I can perceive in this one small tiny book. And I would also suggest that servant leadership somewhat integrates adaptive and authentic leadership, and transformational leadership somewhat integrates ethical and creative leadership. And that's why I picked servant leadership and transformational leadership as the primary models to discuss. I would also suggest the similar synthesis under approaches, that leadership as a process is, and shared or distributed leadership are by necessity relations oriented and psychodynamically oriented. The author's frame of reference and intent. Stanier's frame of reference is his years of experience in organizational and leadership consulting, where he witnessed the different models of leadership in place at the time, which were primarily hierarchical and authoritative and led to advice giving, which by its nature created dependency, overwhelm, and disconnection. So instead, he's introducing coaching as a strategy to generate independent thinking, empower others as leaders, and improve overall efficiency. His frame of reference is behavior change and neuroscience, focusing on creating new habits through identifying what triggers the old habits of advice giving and making the new habit of asking questions short and simple. And the key being repetition. His intent is to offer an actionable, simple, actionable, concise recipe, if you will, method with 7 well thought out questions, 8 explicit instructions, and practical exercises in each chapter, as well as web-based resources. The book's strengths include a synthesis of best practices from real-world experience, behavior, and behavioral science in an accessible, actionable framework. From experience, I know how long it takes to distill complex concepts into simple, accessible action steps. I appreciate the amount of refinement that went into the development of this book, its habit-building strategies, 7 questions, and 8-part masterclass. The book is filled with practical examples of real-world scenarios, dialogues, and anecdotes showing both effective and ineffective coaching habits. Each chapter ends with habit formation challenges, encouraging readers to apply insights immediately and reflect on outcomes. The book also refers to web-based resources for further study. The limits are few, lacks deeper theoretical foundations, limited guidance on cultural diversity, would be harder to adopt in authoritarian cultures. One more additional comment. The book is deceptive in its simplicity. It is possible that people who see themselves as leaders may dismiss and defer coaching skills to a managerial level of leadership. I highly recommend this book. Yes, the book met and exceeded my expectations. I believe the author met and exceeded his goals. After completing an analysis using leadership approaches and models learned in this course, I can see how thoroughly the author synthesized best practices for a very accessible, yet deceptively simple handbook on leadership coaching. Thank you, everybody, for listening and viewing this presentation on the coaching habit. Say less, ask more, and change the way you lead forever.